and the future research agenda. I hope your material will give me or our student increasing about the understanding about the digitalization, especially in the operation management. And I hope our student for their dissertation enhance their material about the digitalization. Time for the
recording in progress.
Hua Tan. This is your time, Prof.
Okay. Thank you very much, and good afternoon. And then, first of all, I'm much appreciated for you to invite me to share my knowledge and experience in this digitalization in operation management. So, in this session, I will share with you my view and opinion, about the future trend and what is the current issue on this digitalization in the supply chain operation management. Yeah. So first of all, let me share with you a bit of my background. So at the moment, I'm as an associate dean in research and knowledge exchange at the Nottingham University Business School, UK. So basically, I in charge of a kind of research funding application, knowledge exchange activity in the business school, within the UK, and also with other campuses in Ningbo, China, and also Semenyih, Malaysia. Yeah. So for example, last week, we have a kind of very, very big kind of workshop, involving few hundred companies around East Midland to come to the business school and to understand what kind of research we do and how we can engage with them, especially on this digitalization, about this industry 4.0, smart manufacturing and so on. Yeah. Throughout this section, I may share some of more interesting you as well. Okay. And in terms of my research at the moment, some of you probably know me before. Yeah, so I'm still very much focused on the big data, and then also this AI and also Industry 4.0. Yeah, especially I'm looking a lot into the digital innovation. So my research is very much practical oriented. So I work with companies, yeah, SME or MNC, try to understand, what issue they are facing, what they want, what really can add value to them. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not a consultant. Yeah, I'm an academic. So my research is very much it's like a consultant, but I still create new knowledge, that can add to existing body of knowledge. Yeah, but at the same time, I deliver practical output or framework or that can benefit by the company. Yeah, so usually I had to spend a lot of time in the company, know their issue, problems, and then work with them to change their processes, their system, so they can deliver good outputs or outcomes. Yeah. So I'm going to share some example with you. And this example is with a company in Indonesia. So I think this will benefit the student and researcher. So you can see how this can be conducted. Especially, I'm based in the UK and the company is based in Indonesia. So you can imagine you are based in Surabaya in the UK. So you can, in Indonesia. So you should able to engage with company more to deliver good research that can benefit them and at the same time add to existing body of knowledge. Okay. So the example I'm going to share today is on this digital innovation, how I work with a local Indonesian company to digitalize new product design development so they can introduce a new product globally, yeah, not just for Indonesia, but for the global market and become the kind of number one in the world, not just in Asia, but in the world in terms of the product category. Yeah. And At the same time, also I could also share some example with you because today topic is about digitalization in operation management. So I try to share my research that are related to digital economy or digital supply chain, for example. Okay, but I just want to highlight to you, it's very important to focus on your research that is that can add knowledge to the existing body of knowledge, but at the same time, it need to have this what we call the kind of knowledge engagement. This means engagement with local companies. That is very very important because this is a new trend. As you are aware, last month the UK government released the REF result. REF stands for Research Assessment Framework. So basically, the UK government evaluate all the 121 universities in the UK, based on their research outcome, research impact, and so on and so forth. Yeah. So one of the key element in that assessment is research impact and knowledge engagement. Yeah, it's not so much in the future. It's not so much about how many paper you publish, how good they are. It's all about, how your research output or outcome, can be utilized by local companies. Yeah, it can be utilized by government in developing policy and so on. So that is very, very important. Yeah, so that is a kind of a message I want to share with you today. And also I want to show you a lot of examples from my own research that is very much practical oriented. But at the same time, add knowledge and they can publish in the very good journals. Okay. At the moment, my H index is 49, and then I expect that this year I should be able to hit 55 or so because there are still a lot of papers in the pipeline. It's under second review or been accepted. It's not yet fully published yet, but it should be hit 50 and above this year. Yeah, so this is a kind of quite a good progress. Yeah. And in terms of my kind of widely cited paper at the moment, lean as a new green, I think that is supply chain sustainability. So that is one of the areas that I'm working on. Also, why I show you this is partly because I want to illustrate to you again, it's important to do a research on topic that is new. Yeah, can add new knowledge. At the same time, it's very practical oriented and then also can benefit company and the policy maker. Yeah, so lean as a new green is a very important topic now, but I started that quite early in about 9 years ago. Yeah, because I already foresee this is going to be a very important topic, especially with this more emphasis on the environment protection, zero carbon and carbon footprint and so on. Yeah, the company facing a lot of pressure, in terms of how can they deliver a sustainable operation at the same time reduce costs. Yeah, so this green as a new lean is kind of a good framework that I propose to assist companies, that they can achieve sustainable operation at the same time reduce cost. Yeah. And the other one I want to show you is the harvesting big data. I think this one is very much linked to our discussion today about how you use the wave of big data to enhance supply chain innovation. So this is a very, very important topic, especially for a lot of companies in Asia, Indonesia especially, because Indonesia is growing very, very fast. So a lot of companies is no longer just happy to be just a supplier, to be a kind of second tier or third tier supplier, manufacture or assemble products. So a lot of company in Asia nowadays, they also want to become the brand owner. Yeah, they want to have a global market. Yeah, not happy just to be a supplier. They want to develop their own product. So how can they use big data or digital technology, to enhance their innovation capability is a very, very important topic. Okay, so I will share one example of digital innovation today, but also at the same time, I want to highlight to you, how finding a right topic, a very relevant and emergent topic is very important. Here I show you. I'm sure you're familiar with this all metric, yeah. Scopus, all metric. All metric is a very, very important analytical tools nowadays, because when you publish a paper, yeah, I'm sure you also want to know how many people cite your paper, right? And who cite your paper, right? And has your paper been tweeted in the Twitter, appear in a Facebook or in LinkedIn and so on? Because this is very important KPI in the future. Yeah, because your university may not just happy with how many paper you publish. They want to know your published paper, have they been, how many been cited? Who cited them? How that impact policy making and so on and so forth. Yeah. So all metric is a kind of a tool that you can use to check your papers. Yeah, I think limited version is free. You can just go online and get it. But if you want to have more in-depth kind of analysis, then you may have to get the license. I'm not promoting all metric. I just want to explain the background to you. So for example, for that paper on harvesting big data to enhance supply chain innovation, yeah, if you go on all metric, yeah, you click on that button, it will show that this paper has how many citations, and then the paper also cited by the UK government, especially in February 2019, as a kind of good reference, important reference for them to write their policy papers, yeah, pertaining to digital supply chain, smart supply chain in the future, and so on and so forth. Yeah. So not to promote our metric, but to highlight to you, it's important, to identify a topic that is emerging, that can not just adding to new knowledge, but also can benefit practitioners and also policymakers. That is key. So for every research topic that you are looking at, it's important you consider all these issues, whether it tick all these boxes or not. Yeah. And it's not difficult to do that. Yeah. So with that in mind, yeah. So for today discussion, yeah, I'm structuring into sort of like 4 parts. So before we talk about the future, past and present, and so I think it's important for us to explore the issue. Yeah, especially with the current global supply chain operation. What are the new trend, what are the forces shaping the global supply chain. Yeah, and then we look at the different industry 4.0 technology. Yeah, and then how this technology can be used to help company to achieve competitive advantage, and also to address some of those challenges. Yeah. So in the first section, I will show you some we will have some discussion, and with a lot of examples of the technology. At the same time, we will explore what could be the potential research question. Yeah, I think that way of discussion will be much better than toward the end I just say, okay, these are the potential research topic in the future. I think that it's better to link that with the practical examples. As I mentioned just now, research engagement, knowledge exchange become very, very important today and in the future. Yeah, so every research that we do, it has to be practical oriented, link with the company if possible, can add new knowledge to literature, yeah, and can help policy makers, to address some of the issue for the future and so on. Okay, and of course, after giving you a lot of examples, you may want to have better understanding. So how can you do it? Yeah. So in the second section, I'm going to show an example how I collaborate with the Indonesian company based in Batam, yeah, to look at this digital innovation. So I work with the company to develop a new product, from ground zero, yeah, and then launch it to the world and become the number 1 in the world, and then have big car company as a customer and so on. Yeah, a very sustainable approach. Not just for a short while, yeah, but the company been continuing now more than 10 years and is doing bigger and bigger. Okay, so that is very important. Okay, so it's a win-win because company benefit from that. Yeah, and then at the same time, I able to sort of create new knowledge and publish in good journals. Yeah, so you can see this type of practical kind of process-based action research is becoming more important in the future. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that modeling, the empirical study, those are not important. Yeah, they are still very important. Yeah, but I try to say it's a kind of combination of these different methods is necessary. Okay. And then finally, I'm going to talk about teaching. Yeah, because I believe most of you, as a researcher, you are likely end up as a academic in university. So you need to aware, what kind of skills is needed for you and for your future career. And also this looking at the teaching trend also may trigger you to have more ideas about what are the suitable research question or topic to be carried out and so on. Okay, and then finally a Q&A. Yeah, so you can ask me any question and so on, because I'm not able to see your comments or your question in the chat because there are too many screens here, and I don't know, I'm not very familiar with Zoom. So I hope you can keep your questions to the end. Yeah, so in the Q&A, then you can put out your question and we can discuss. Yeah, if you put your question in the chat now, I may not able to see it and I'm not able to respond it, and then so maybe it's better we do the questioning, Q&A at the end. Okay, let me finish all the presentation first, then we can do the Q&A. Yeah. It is okay for everyone?
Okay, Prof.
Okay, good. Yeah, if there is a case, then I will continue. Yeah. Right. So let me first share with you what are the different forces that are shaping the global supply chain and operation management now. Yeah, I believe. Let me ask a question. How many of you still go to a supermarket to shop at the supermarket? Yeah, I believe not many. Yeah, because nowadays, if you want to buy a soft drink, a juice, or shirt, or shoes, or whatever, you go online. Yeah, you go to whatever website is in your country. Yeah, and then you just order them because it's very very convenient. Yeah, and that product will be delivered to you. Yeah, especially during this COVID-19 era. E-commerce is booming and so on. So if you think about the value created by the e-commerce, yeah, and it's vast, yeah. But at the same time, you might also think it from the position of a manufacturers and distributors, wholesaler, and so on, yeah. Because in the past, yeah, you basically send your product to the retailers, and then they deal with the consumers. But today, yeah, consumer may buy directly from you. Okay, it's not just from the retailer and so on and so forth. So you are dealing with billions of consumers all over the world, and you have to deal with them. Yeah, you have to deliver the product to them and so on and so forth. So that have a huge impact on your supply chain design and logistic performance and so on and so forth. Yeah, so this is a very important trend. Okay, and then we need to be aware of this. Yeah, so I just want to highlight all this issue first. Then we're going to look at the different technology, especially the Industry 4.0 technologies that can be utilized to mitigate some of these challenges and also to help firms to achieve competitive advantage. Yeah, and then the other forces at the moment is about mass customization, personalization. Yeah, consumer nowadays have many choices. Okay, and they also have more spare money to spend, so they are more demanding. Okay, they're no longer satisfied, to buy a Nike shoes, from the retailers and so on. They want it to be customized, to be unique, yeah, to show their own personality and so on and so forth. And this is becoming a new trend, yeah, because everybody is different. Yeah, so why are you wearing the same Nike shoes, for example, or Adidas shoe? You want it to be different. Yeah, you want to show your own personality and so on. Right. So this is a big challenge for a lot of manufacturers. Yeah. So how can they, uh, make their process more flexible, yeah, more responsive, in order to meet all these uh, uh, various demand from the customers. Yeah, and customer not just want the unique design, they also want it fast. Yeah, they're not happy to wait 2 months or 2 years for the product. Maybe they can wait for a few days or a week maximum. Okay, and had to be cheap. No, not very expensive. Yeah, if you can customize for them, very expensive. Yeah, and then customer may not want to buy and they are not happy. Yeah, if your competitor are able to offer better mass customization, faster and cheaper, then you're going to lose your customer, right? So this is another big challenge company is facing, and this is a very important challenge because all over the world, consumer are more demanding. I think personally, you and I also have the same kind of urge. Every time we look at a particular product, we say, maybe if they change this, they change that, that'll be much better to suit my need and so on. Yeah. Yeah. The other one, which is all over the news today, is about social responsibility. Yeah, ethical operations. Yeah, no slavery. So big company, if you are making a lot of money, consumer will then immediately will ask you another question. How much? Yeah, you help. Your local community. Yeah. Do you help to alleviate poverty in your community? Yeah. How much effort you put in to empower women? Equality. Yeah. Inclusivity. Yeah. Health and safety. Do you provide enough kind of measure to ensure health and safety? You take good care of your workers' welfare and so on. So it's no longer just like the 30 years ago. If you are a manufacturing company, you produce a product, you sell it, and then and that's it. You make some money. Yeah. But today, you not just manufacture products, but at the same time you make your profit had to be you had to do it in a very social responsible way. Yeah, at the same time, the revenue that you generated, you need to give back to the society and local community. Yeah, because of the globalization, digital technology, information technology, and so on. So the information is more transparent. Okay, so to a consumer, not just in the local market, from all over the world, international market also can go online, find out information about what have you done in terms of social responsibility and so on. And they have the right, to challenge you, to criticize you and so on. So this is a very, very big challenge, many companies are facing. Not just company, even government also have to deal with this. Okay. Yeah, and then I think I touched on the environment, sustainable operation. I think they are linked. Yeah, so about environment protection, pollution, all these are linked nowadays, and they're very, very important agenda for every companies. Yeah, so these are the forces shaping the global supply chain and operation management. Yeah, so why company care? Why you want to talk about this? Yeah, because all these forces, have a big impact on the firm performance. Yeah. So if a company not ticking some of these boxes, then that can have a big impact on their reputation, their brand performance. Yeah, consumer will say, oh, this company is not ethical. Yeah, or this product is not good, so we're not going to buy from them, and so on and so forth. Yeah, and these forces also shaping the consumer purchasing behavior. Yeah, so more and more consumer, they don't just look at product that is good quality and cheap. They also look for product that is sustainable, produced or manufactured. So I think they care more about the product or services that tick all these boxes than about price and the quality. Yeah, they're willing to sacrifice or to pay more to get the product or services
from company that have a sustainable operation, for example. Yeah, and it's very important as well because if you don't do this, your competitor is doing it, and then they will have the competitive advantage over you, and then you're going to have a big problem and so on. Yeah, but I mean there are many issues and so on, but I just give a few examples just to highlight to you, a lot of forces are shaping the global supply chain operation to the future. Yeah, and company must address them head on. Yeah, and these are happening simultaneously. It's not like, okay, I now want to focus on the e-commerce. I forget about this mass customization, ethical operation. Don't worry, I do my e-commerce first, and then I address other point later. No, it all happen at the same time. Yeah, you must be sustainable. Yeah, you must have social responsibility. You must able to produce a mass customized product, low cost, fast and cheap. Yeah, and able to provide quick delivery to the customer, omni channels, all this happening at the same time. Yeah, so company must have all this kind of capability and then the worker skill in order to deliver, to orchestra, all these system processes and to deliver the value to the customer. Yeah, so this is the message I want to get across. Okay, so there's some of you may not able to feel, what do we mean by all this? Yeah, so let me show you some examples, so you can better link to these forces I explained here. Okay. So I think, for example, European Union, EU, is a big market. I think this year, I think they sort of introduce a new rules and regulation. Yeah, all the clothes, furniture, and smartphones sold in the EU must be longer lasting and easier to repair. Yeah, so I think you have experience, like how often you change your mobile phone. Maybe 2 years. Some of you 1 year you change it because of it's out. The model is outdated, or the battery is no longer performing well, and so on. And then your a lot of fast fashion. What I try to say is, you go to Zara, H&M, you buy a very nice fashion shirts or trousers, whatever. You wear it 2 or 3 times, you throw away, you buy a new one, and so on. So this no longer possible. Okay, these new rules by EU enforced this year, going to force force a lot of companies, to make sure their product is sustainable. Yeah, just like what we experienced, 30 or 40 years ago. You buy a shirt, you wear for 5 years or 10 years, and it's still good quality, right? But today, a lot of fast fashion, a lot of shirts that you buy, it's designed not to last too long. After 2 or 3 wash, the color is fading. And there are holes in there and so on, shrinking. So you throw them away. So this is not good for the environment. Yeah. So these new rules going to stop all this. Yeah, your iPhone in the future, if you buy it from the EU, I'm not sure in the Asia, because Asia got no rules yet. But in the EU, the iPhone you buy for example, in France, may able to last 10 years. You don't need to keep changing again and again, because that iPhone had to be able to be upgraded, and able to take in the new software upgrade or whatever, for the next 10 years or more, and so on. Maybe the rules, I think I'm not very familiar with the rules yet, but there are some specification and target the company had to achieve. Okay, so I believe these new rules, I think will spread across to Asia as well very soon, and so on. So if you are a manufacturer in Indonesia or in Asia, you need to worry about this, because if you are not able to meet this, you will not able to sell your product, and so on. Okay. Right. So another example, yeah, a TV that can interact with you. Okay, so this is a latest research in Japan that enable you to, because if you're based in Surabaya, and then you on the TV, you see some of the Michelin 3-star restaurant in Copenhagen, one of the world most expensive one. They have this very nice chicken dishes, ice cream and so on. You want to experience it, right? But it's going to be very expensive for you to travel all the way to try it. And sometimes in the television or in the news, it looks very nice, but you may not like it, right? So this clickable TV enable you to download and then and taste that particular menu or product, in your home. Okay, whether you like it or not. Now, if you like it, then you may want to try it or may order it and so on. So you can see how this technology, going to change the future. This kind of service operation, the restaurant, the fast food, the kind of supply chain in the future. Yeah. So I'm not promoting for any of this company, whatever. I just want to use this example, as I mentioned before, to trigger discussion, to let you aware of how this technology going to shape the supply chain, the business model and so on. So from there, you can, but may trigger you to think of some relevant research question, that can add new knowledge to existing literature. At the same time, can benefit local companies. Yeah, you can work with them to deliver new products or framework that enable them to create value for the customer. And also your finding can benefit government policymakers in developing white papers for the.
Okay, so let me show you this clickable TV. Yeah. So you can see it now, I think. Yeah. Just a short video to illustrate, how it works and so on. Yeah. Right. So this is clickable TV. So imagine the food supply chain. You have a clickable TV and you have a 3D printer. Yeah. So immediately, if you like the chocolate or the dish, you can then download the file. You can use 3D printer to print the dish at home. Yeah, and immediately you can try it and so on. So imagine the kind of convenient value or benefit digital technology can bring to consumer and so on. So potential research question, what could be the business model? Yeah. So what could be the framework, enable company to implement, to integrate this different technology together, yeah, in their supply chain, in order to deliver the kind of value to the customer, for example. Yeah. So I don't have the answer, but I just want to use different examples and also to trigger you to consider, yeah, and also to assist in our discussion. Okay, and then back to the forces challenges, yeah, and you can see this, and this news is in the UK, it happened in the UK, yeah, in the UK, not in other country. So you would expect this kind of what we call it slavery, child labor or whatever, it always happen in the developing countries, right? Far far away and so on. But in the UK itself, it's happening right in the UK for many years. Yeah, so workers are being treated like a slave in the factory. They work only, they earn as much as £3.50 per hour. So at the moment, I think the market rate is about £10 per hour, for example. Yeah, so it's very low pay, and then the worker live in a very poor environment. Yeah, and then they have their well-being are not being taken care and so on. And this happened in the UK. Okay, I'm not saying about this company is not good or whatever. We're not getting into politics or whatever. But the point I try to say is that if you don't pay attention to the social responsibility, slavery, and so on, this kind of news will tarnish your brand reputation. Yeah. So this company, Boohoo, took a big hit, from this news. Yeah, and then their share, drop, 70%. Their market share also a significant hit by this news and so on. Yeah. The point I want to highlight here is that why people care about this? Yeah, because we care because we now have more purchasing power. Yeah, so we take company responsible on what they do. Okay, and then you also don't want to buy a shirt or trousers, from a company that engage slavery, child labor, right? Yeah, because we are all human, right? So we can relate to the pain feel by the slavery, by the slave, by the child, and so on. So we want everyone to be equal, have fair access, pay well, and then and so on. Yeah. So this is the forces are shaping the global supply chain. Yeah. So company need to make sure their supply chain is transparent. Yeah. So when a worker buy a product or a shirt or trousers or skirt, yeah, they can have confidence that this company supply chain, yeah, is free of slavery, is free of child labor, and so on and so forth. Yeah. So how digital technology, could help. Okay, so that could be a very interesting aspect or research question. Okay.
So we all care about environment, yeah, and a lot of company also aware of that. But to really make a product that is very sustainable, good to the environment and so on, can be quite costly. So a lot of company nowadays they engage in what we call the greenwashing. Yeah, and then they try to make an advertisement, of the product or looks very nice, they look very green and so on. But in reality, they are not. Yeah. So the question is how digital technology can help to mitigate some of this. Okay. So just to show you a quick video about this greenwashing. Yeah. So you're probably aware of this because if you go to supermarket, you buy a lot of product, the packaging look very, very environmental friendly, right? Green color. Yeah, they usually show the forest, because this immediately trigger you to think about environment protection. Yeah, but in reality, that may not be the case, right? So how can you, as a manufacturer, instill better confidence with the consumers, through digital technology? Yeah, so that could be an interesting question.
Walk into any grocery store and you're bound to see it. The green marketing. It seems to be almost everywhere these days. Our eggs are all natural and our shampoos are encased in green labels adorned with leaves and generic trees. In many respects, this push towards an eco-friendlier consumerism is a positive change. Organic produce and sustainably made clothing are needed if we are to reduce industrial and personal footprints. But unfortunately, hidden among these ethically and environmentally driven products lies an insidious form of advertising, greenwashing. From bath products to meat packaging, greenwashing occurs in almost every sector of the consumer market. But today, let's take a close look at how Fiji Water uses ad campaigns to construct a green image around its otherwise environmentally detrimental company. But first, why exactly is greenwashing bad? Quite simply, it plays into a consumer's desire to live a green life without necessarily creating a sustainable product. And on a deeper level, one of the greenest things to do is to buy fewer things. So no matter how great the product is, it's probably still kind of deceptive to market it as green. So greenwashing means using titles like all natural or eco-friendly, or simply using a green background in order to entice a customer into buying a product that is by no means environmentally friendly. In some cases, bigger companies that falsely label their products as eco-friendly, like eggs labeled farm fresh or all natural, can often outcompete smaller companies who are more environmentally grounded and actually employ ethical practices while creating their products. Fiji Water's recent marketing campaign encapsulates the essence of this greenwashing.
Fiji Water is a gift from nature to us to repay our gift of leaving it completely alone. Bottled at the source, untouched by man, it's Earth's finest water.
While aesthetically pleasing and pleasant to watch, there are a number of aspects that work hard to shroud Fiji Water's large environmental footprint in a cloud of green. For one, the bright double exposures of nature flickering within the edges of the bottle immediately cue us to Fiji Water's connection to nature. Especially when contrasted with the dark cityscape background, the water bottle appears to be a perfect image of a world quote unquote untouched by man. The visuals are then compounded with the narration of a young girl who anchors the ad with this proclamation.
Bottled at the source, untouched by man.
Clearly, this ad works hard to paint Fiji Water as a part of nature, rather than what it really is. Water bottled in plastics that take many years to degrade, shipped via intensive transportation from Fiji to destinations around the world. Both these practices wreak havoc on the environment, including the air and the water. And to bring Fiji's negative impact into sharp relief, 47% of people who live in Fiji don't have access to clean, safe drinking water, according to the World Health Organization. This commercial is just a small part of Fiji's larger campaign that attempts to reimagine the bottled water company as the essence of nature. Spreads like this reveal the larger work at play in Fiji's greenwashed marketing tactics. They are pursuing environmentally minded customers by framing their water bottles as a completely green product. Fiji tells us a one-sided story that appeals to their customers' moral conscience. You can't help but choose Fiji over other bottled waters because they frame purchasing a Fiji bottle as a way to reduce carbon emissions and save the Fijian rainforest, when in fact their product is inextricably tied to the systems of pollution that are causing carbon emissions and deforestation. Greenwashing comes in many forms, and it's not often as clear-cut as with Fiji Water. So understanding how and why greenwashing works is essential to spotting it. A critical deconstruction of a cleaning product is necessary if you're buying it solely because it's green. Oftentimes, nature and trees are used to create the impression of an eco-friendly product when there is really no substance to back up those claims. So do some research and shop with intention, because the collective power of consumers can steer companies towards more truthful and ethical products.
Right. So I'm not against the Fiji water or whatever. Just I want to use that video to highlight to you, different tactics, firms are using in the greenwashing. Be aware. Yeah. So from the research point of view, yeah, we want to look at how digital technology can be utilized, yeah, to instill consumers' confidence in the product supply chain. Yeah. Right. So I mean, there are a lot of other examples, but I'm conscious of time. Yeah, so I just want to basically sum up that market trends. Consumer looking for more ethical products. Yeah, company need to have ethical operation. Need to ensure that their environmental friendly operation. They do their social responsibility part. Their process are flexible, able to create customized product for consumers. At the same time, they need to be aware, of the competitive advantage in terms of cost, quality, speed, flexibility, delivery, and so on. Right. So there are a lot of industry 4.0 technology. Yeah, I think in the one of the presentation I gave to your university before, I talk about this blockchain, 3D printing, drones, and so on and so forth. Okay, so today I'm not going to repeat them, but basically just to highlight to you, companies are looking at this industry 4.0 to digitalize their supply chain and operation. Yeah, to make their operation more transparent, more integrated. Yeah, so they're able to reduce lead time, reduce mistake. Yeah, and able to provide more transparent information to their consumer, to their customers, yeah, so that can instill better confidence. Yeah. So here I want to highlight an example of a research conducted by Cambridge University. Yeah, on looking at the IoT data integration platform. Yeah, so I hope this video can trigger you to think about more research ideas and examples. Yeah, because I believe this example is very practical one. Yeah, and then it's not just create new knowledge, but also develop a kind of platform that can be utilized by companies. Yeah, I believe it will be also very relevant for you in ITS. Okay. This video now.
Distributors to hauliers and retailers. Each part of the chain can become vulnerable to disruption, and without access to real-time traceable information, it can be difficult to plan for or respond to problems. The Internet of Things provides the opportunity for supply chains to become more connected, and for partners in the supply chain to improve their planning and performance. Let's look at an example. This vessel is about to arrive in a UK port. It's full of containers with goods ordered by different importers. A bay plan maps out the current location of all the containers on board. The haulier, due to pick up the containers from port and deliver them to a warehouse, has a fleet ready and waiting. But without access to up-to-date data on a vessel's estimated time of arrival at bay plan, the port cannot plan the unloading optimally, and the haulier cannot plan its fleet until the vessel docks. They won't know when the container is cleared by customs to be collected, or how long it will take to retrieve a container from the stacking yard. This can lead to long waiting and traffic congestion at the port. Disruptions then spread along the supply chain to the importer, who now faces delays. But by creating an IoT data integration platform where the port, the vessels, the haulier and the importer input their information in real time, everyone can have a clearer view of the situation. Meaning decisions can be made much more effectively. For the haulier, they can book container pickup slots before the vessel arrives. The slots are constantly updated, reflecting the container's readiness. As for the port, they can stack containers in reasonable locations in the yard, setting up for later pickups. This more efficient process ensures more goods are delivered on time and cost effectively.
Again, a video to see some practical examples so it can trigger you to think about more research idea. Yeah. Now, if you look at this is on the kind of supply chain integration. Yeah. So if you look at the more, how about
Recording
in the
stopped.
in the operation, right? Yeah. So what can you do more in the operation? Okay. So here I want to give you the latest examples of the 3D printing, how it has changed so much over the years. Yeah, it can be used to print houses. I think it's very common now. A lot of countries in Middle East, in Mexico and so on, they are using 3D printer to print houses. I think this is no longer a good example because it's already there. But I want to show you in terms of the food, 3D printing and also how company are using AI, robotic, together with some of the 3D printing function to serve customer in the restaurant, for example. Yeah, so these things are changing, this food supply chain dramatically. Yeah, so there could be some interesting idea for future research as well. Okay.
You're hungry, but instead of whipping up a meal, all you have to do is enter your menu choices into a computer and your dinner appears before you. So magical. It may seem like science fiction, but it isn't. Well, not completely. The future is now, my friends. Is 3D printed food in your future? And what does it have to do with an eye wash cup? Columbia University. And lasers. Stay tuned as we chew on all the possibilities. In the last few years, 3D printing has become mainstream. But making food this way is still in its early stages. It might seem like a new process, but the origin of 3D printing goes back to the early 1980s. In 1983, researchers produced the first item using a 3D printer. What was that groundbreaking new product? An eye wash cup. Today, the process is used to create toys, prosthetics, and automotive parts. You can even have one at home. But how did this technology move into the kitchen? In 2006, NASA began researching 3D printed food as it wanted to create pizzas for astronauts. NASA wasn't the only one interested in printing food. In 2007, researchers at Columbia University's Creative Machines Lab produced the Fab at Home personal fabrication system, which could create edible objects using cake frosting, chocolate, processed cheese, and peanut butter. First bakery making 3D printed goods opened in 2011. Using a standard 3D printer, Sugar Labs produces such intricate candies that it markets them as ornaments. By 2014, food-specific 3D printers were being created and marketed to restaurants as a means of producing intricately designed meals. Genius idea. But the food still had to be cooked in traditional ways. Recently, the researchers at the Creative Machines Lab have been searching for ways of cooking food as it's being printed. Their solution is lasers. Adding lasers to a 3D printer allows them to print and cook the food in the same machine. But how does it taste? Well, the laser cooked 3D printed chicken was twice as juicy as conventionally cooked chicken. It also didn't shrink as much. And most importantly, it tasted like regular chicken. Meat isn't the only thing 3D printing could revolutionize. Israeli company Redesign Meat is using 3D printing to create plant-based.
Recording in progress.
Alt steaks, as they are called, have more fiber and less fat than traditional steaks. And they have the same amount of protein but no cholesterol. All right, we're gonna get one. And printing our food could help fight food waste. Netherlands-based Uprising Foods wants to turn discarded food into edible printing material. If you want to experience 3D printed food, you could visit Food Inc. in the UK. This restaurant touts itself as a one-of-a-kind gourmet experience where all the food, utensils, and furniture are produced through 3D printing. The Japanese company has created a standardized cube form of food using 3D printers, much like the food eaten by Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock on the Starship Enterprise.
Well, not bad.
Plans are underway for a sushi restaurant using these edible cubic printouts. Could 3D printed food become our food of the future? Only time will tell, my friends. But the increasing availability of consumer printers could make 3D printed food more common. And if 3D printed food doesn't become our food of choice, perhaps crickets will be the food of our futures. Or maybe it'll be food printed using cricket paste. We'll explore that on another episode of Origins of Food.
Right. So that would make you think hard, yeah, about the future food supply chain. Whether restaurant is still relevant in the future. Okay. So here I want to show another a video about this karakuri. Yeah. So a lot of UK companies nowadays they have this kind of automated kind of cafe. Yeah. So you can create personalized food, for their staff. Yeah. Yeah, so that is on the karakuri. Yeah, so it's the name of the technology they call it, but karakuri actually is more to do with the lean karakuri, the Japanese meaning about this low cost automation. Yeah, but in UK maybe they're not familiar with the Japanese word, so they think that is karakuri, but that is fine. So I'm not promoting for any of these companies or technologies, but basically I just want to use this video to trigger you to think about the future research trend and direction. Because this technology is already there, yeah, and they are good enough, to be implemented. Yeah, so question for you is how that going to impact companies and the future food supply chain, or service operation and so on. Yeah, so that could be an angle you want to tackle. Okay. So I think that we look at the kind of integration, and we look at the operation customization, and then next we're going to look at the impact on the delivery, on the logistic. Yeah. So here I want to show you a video. Yeah, I think this is a very more recent video about the supply chain crisis, experienced by a sweater, for example. You look through the journey of a sweater to explore the challenges of the global supply chain. Okay, so from there we can also link to the potential digital technology the company can utilize to mitigate some of the challenges.
This sweater made of recycled cashmere is one of Everland's top sellers. But disruptions caused by workers didn't get it here in time for the holidays. Everlane gave us a behind-the-scenes look at what the clothing industry is up against in a supply chain that spans the globe. It begins nearly a year ago in February in Prato, Italy.
It starts by taking sweaters from around the world that are shipped to Italy.
Over several weeks at this mill, old cashmere clothes are pulled apart and spun into yarn. In May, that yarn is shipped to Hong Kong, and from there, sent on to a factory in Dongguan, China,
where they turn it into new sweaters.
By late July, the sweater is ready to be shipped by boat from Hong Kong to New York. But more than a month later, the sweater is still waiting to depart. Why couldn't we get this sweater onto cargo ships?
There's a long line of people trying to get on their ships, and the price of freight has gone to the moon. You're seeing what used to cost about $1,200 2 years ago, right now it's $20,000.
home export handles shipping for everyone. When it looked like the sweater would arrive 2 months late, they decided to send it by air instead, but at a cost.
In this case, we were able to do air, and it only cost $5 more product to get it there.
You had to raise the price on that sweater $5 because of the shipping.
You would say more than $5 because we also have a margin gain. So if it's $5 in extra cost, we might be raising the price by $10.
But with other retailers also shipping by air, flight options are limited. In September, the sweater lands in Toronto, then flown to JFK in New York, and next is trucked to this Pennsylvania distribution right into the big city. Finally, the sweater is back on a truck headed to stores like this one in New York.
Logistics is sort of this hidden undercurrent. It's like a circulatory system of the world economy, and you kind of take it for granted until it doesn't work.
So know that when you see a sweater on a store shelf, it may have been a 7 multiple stops around the world to get it there. Stephanie Wu, NBC News, New York.
Right. So you may able to link this example with the Cambridge IoT platform just now. Yeah, so you can have better using the IoT, blockchain to have to create the kind of a better supply chain transparency or visibility. Yeah, so all the partners in the supply chain can then better plan their schedule and operation and so on. Yeah. So these are there are a lot of technology. I cannot show you all of them, like cloud computing, automation, and AI, and so on. So I just pick some of them because I'm conscious of time. The point I want to make here is that all this technology, can be utilized, to help a company to achieve competitive advantage. So here I want to share with you example from Rolls-Royce, because we invited Rolls-Royce to give a lecture recently, and this slide are not confidential, so they share this with us. Yeah, so Rolls-Royce put a lot of emphasis on this digital technology, especially Industry 4.0, because they believe future competitive advantage, all rely on the digital technology. Yeah, in terms of provide better product and services, improve their operation efficiency and effectiveness. Yeah, I will give you more example from Rolls-Royce later on, but just to use this to highlight to you, many companies, big or small, yeah, they now put a lot of emphasis on these digital technologies. Yeah. So, for example, for Rolls-Royce, yeah, so how digital technology, can be utilized to achieve a competitive advantage. So basically, the digital technology have a big impact on the three areas in the systems, methods, and also processes. So you can see here various kind of technology they want to use to address the challenges in the system, methods, and the processes. Yeah, and then also they look into the emerging technology, like AI. Yeah, they put a lot of emphasis on the digital twin. You're familiar with the concept of digital twin? Yeah, so this is becoming more popular nowadays. Yeah, basically a physical one and then a digital one, so you can better analyze, and then double check the challenges and issue. Okay, others like robotic, yeah, and 3D printing, laser and so on. They are there. Yeah, so these are just a kind of practical example from companies like Rolls-Royce. I believe a lot of other companies also, like for example, this Land Rover Jaguar, this Dyson and so on. They all putting a lot of emphasis on this digital technology to help them to achieve a competitive advantage in the marketplace. Yeah. So that's all I want to, in section 1, kind of a brief discussion on the challenges, and then look and show you a lot of examples of the digital technology, real application and so on. So the main is to trigger you to think, about the potential research issue and the questions that will be relevant in the future, and then that you may want to look into. Okay, so now in the second section, I want to give you an example. Okay, so how I work with a company, in this case, a company from Indonesia based in Batam, on this digital innovation. So how I collaborate with them to integrate digital technology into existing product, and then to develop a high value added end product that can disrupt existing supply chain. Yeah, and then of course the company make a lot of money, and I can publish papers. Okay. So I'm going to kickstart with this quote from the Harvard Business Review, one of the very famous pioneer journal. An estimated 70% of new value created in the economy over the next decade will be based on digitally enabled platform business models. Yeah, so basically, digital innovation is the future. Yeah, so here I just illustrate an example. I know you're probably aware of this, like Kodak. Yeah, so this used to be one of the largest company in the world. Yeah, but many years ago, this company, filed for bankruptcy. Yeah, because they are not able to compete, because their value proposition to the consumer, which is photographic film, to capture photos and pictures and so on, is no longer relevant. Yeah, because consumer all switch to this smartphone to take photos, or digital camera and so on. Yeah, so such a big, huge company, yeah, had to file for bankruptcy
to catch on the digital bandwagon. Okay. So it's not just about this company. There are also other companies, like for example, in this entertainment industry. Yeah, a lot of movie rental companies, the big one. Yeah, like the Virgin Entertainment in the UK, they all disappear. Yeah, because they are not able to compete with the companies like this Netflix, or this Sky, where they deliver movies, digitally, by streaming. Yeah, instead of going to the shop, have a physical tape and VHS and so on. So the digital technology make a lot of this. They disrupt a lot of existing supply chain. Yeah, make a lot of company or business operation become irrelevant. Okay. And just to follow on that, but Fujifilm is, they are very smart. They switch very fast. Yeah. So, but they sort of capitalize on their capabilities and technology in photography film, and they channel it into the cosmetic. Yeah. They now become a sort of still Fuji company, but mainly produce a cosmetic product like Astalif. Very high end cosmetic product. Some of you may be familiar with. Yeah. Or where there's Kodak, yeah, they are not able to respond quick enough. Yeah, they had to file for bankruptcy. Yeah. So more examples like Yellow Pages. I think maybe when you were young, you want to look for information, you go for Yellow Pages, right? Yeah. But today, you on your smartphone, you can go on Google and you find almost all the information needed. The telephone number of the restaurant, the address and so on. Yeah. So it totally disrupt the business model and the supply chain. Yeah. So a lot of this information. Kind of search company like Yellow Pages, they all have to file for bankruptcy. Yeah. Another example of digital technology is the kind of Uber, yeah, taxi booking application. Yeah. So enable us to use smartphone to order a taxi. Yeah. And then they make an existing kind of those hail and cab kind of operation or business model irrelevant. Okay. Airbnb, yeah, this going to disrupt the future hotel industry, yeah, because they enable user to lease and rent, those either apartments or private house, yeah, as the accommodation, yeah. In fact, in a lot of country, like Japan, China, some in the UK as well, they have now automated hotel. Okay, there's a link here. I'm conscious of time, so I'm not going to show you the video. But if you later on, I'm going to share the slide anyway. You can look at this video where if you go into a hotel, you're not going to see anyone is serving you. It's all will be fully automated. Eye tracking, voice recognitions, sensors, and so on. So and if you go to the restaurant in a hotel, again, it'll be all fully automated, like the Karakuri example I showed you just now. Yeah, all the food will be served by robots and so on. So basically, you go to a hotel, you're not going to see any human being. And I've said other hotel lodger, of course, but or you will be served, by robots, automated system and so on. Yeah. So things are changing. Yeah, the economy, the technology is mature enough, is reliable. Yeah. So not just on this hotel industry and so on, even a lot of structure, like for example, houses, building and so on. Yeah, like the traditional structure, also evolve. Yeah, it become I give you example here. Yeah, so typical conventional structure can be the square one. Yeah, but the more modern structure, is more curvy. Yeah, it's more aesthetic appealing. Yeah, because it's also stronger and more reliable. Yeah, even bridges. Yeah, they've used kind of modern steel concrete bridges and so on. So you can see the structure shape also changing. Yeah, so if you step back and think, yeah, how about the tools or the equipment, yeah, used to manufacture this structure, the modern structure? Are you still able to utilize the old equipment, old tools to build the modern structure? Yeah, so that is also another question. Yeah, so this one I try to link to the example I gave you just now, right? So in the past, yellow pages, you look for information, hotel, telephone number, you flip through the pages, you find the information. But with a smartphone, yeah, people are able to within seconds, yeah, find out all the relevant information and so on. Yeah, so how about the in terms of in other industry? Yeah, this for example in the building industry. Yeah, so this is just to highlight to you, things are changing, they evolve. So existing process or technology that you take for granted may no longer relevant in the future. Okay. So if you look at the conventional barber level, yeah, so I believe you all experience this leveling tool, right? You need a leveling tool, for putting a picture frame, or aligning your or cupboard, for example, your chair, your 3D printer at home, build, laying bricks and so on, pipes, in the basement and so on. So but this leveling tool is application. Everybody need a leveling tool in some extent and so on. But you look at the technology, yeah, they are still using the kind of air bubble with the mercury inside and so on. Yeah, they have not changed for a long time. Okay, more 50 years or 60 years. Yeah, and all this bubble is very low value added. Yeah, because your eyesight has to be good, in order to see the bubble accurate positions, it has to have the good lighting, the environment has to be free of dust. For example, if you are a very dusty environment, then you may not have to see clearly and so on. Yeah, and no much investment into this product and so on. So there are a lot of value added opportunity, for this kind of product. So if you are able to digitalize it, yeah, you can make a lot of money. Yeah, but it has been neglected. Okay. Yeah, so just repeat what I mentioned just now. Yeah, so the technology stay unchanged. Yeah, and no new investment. Yeah, but the functionality and utility, yeah, is indisputably obvious and enduring. Yeah, there is a huge demand for leveling tool and so on. Yet, it's being neglected. Yeah. So if you look at the application, yeah. So if you look at you are engineer, I believe you're familiar with the lead machine, milling machine and so on, right? So, but today we talk about this kind of precision CNC, the 5 axis, and so on. Yeah, so we no longer, maybe in your training, yeah, you're still using the conventional one to let you familiar with how to operate the lathe machine, the milling machine. But today, in a lot of companies, they are using this kind of very precise CNC machines, 5 axis and so on. Yeah. So are you still able to use the traditional split leveling tool to set up this CNC 5 axis machine? No, right? Because it's 5 axis. The conventional one maximum is like 2 axis and so on. So if you want to use the conventional one, yes, it's possible, but it may take you a long time. Yeah, and then you may not able to get it right. So you need a lot of knowledge and skills and so on. So long setup time in manufacturing or in supply chain is very bad. It's not good because it's money. Yeah, and you're not flexible enough, not responsive enough, and so on. Yeah, so these are the challenges faced by this company in Batam. Yeah, so they are not making leveling tool. They're basically it's a kind of EMS, electronic manufacturer service provider. So basically, they are kind of a supplier to produce certain components in the electronic sector. Like for example, flexible printed circuit, for IBM, for all these big company and so on. So they are just a supplier. Yeah, they hire workers and then low cost, manufacture the product. That's it. And then they don't brand name and so on. Then they send back to their customer, who then put the component into a laptop or PC or in other electronic goods. Okay, so this company facing this challenge because they need to produce very high precision products, and they are setting up the CNC, using this kind of very old traditional split level and so on, right? So it's a big main challenge. So they came to me and they say, look, this opportunity there, the technology is developing very fast, but a lot of kind of tools or techniques, not techniques, tools they use are still very old, has been neglected and so on. So what could we do together, yeah, to sort of integrate digital technology into the tools to add new value to the consumer so that we can utilize it better, faster, more value added, for example. Yeah. So to cut the story short, yeah. So this company worked with me, and then we developed this kind of integrate digital technology into leveling tool. Yeah, and then the brand name is called DigiPass. Yeah, so to enable a consumer to have easier for them to utilize the leveling tool, because the digital display there, they give more accuracy. So if one is fully level, it's going to be 0.00, and they are able to make sound t, so you understand that, okay, it's level already. Compared to the traditional one, you have to look carefully with the bubble, and then if the lighting had to be good, had to be dust free and so on, right? So you can see here, so this is a kind of really quick work together with the company. Yeah, within a few months, launch this kind of new highly value added product to the market. Okay, yeah, you can see here in this example, leveling tool, you still can see the bubble. Yeah, some of you may say, hey, why you still have the bubble? You say this is a digitalized leveling tool. Why you have the bubble? Yes. So one of the challenges when you introduce digital innovation is that you may disrupt, consumer familiarity. If a consumer been using a bubble leveling tool for the past 20 or 50 years, if you suddenly give them a kind of digitalized tools, they will be shocked. They don't have the confidence. They say, are you sure this is reliable? Are you sure this is working? Yeah. So that's why in the first generation, we still have the bubble there. Yeah. So a consumer can, a user can then double check, the bubble against the digital display. Say, oh, okay, this is good. Then they will find that in the future, they no longer look at the bubble anymore, because that is useless. Yeah, they're going to look at the digital display. Yeah, so that's why one of the challenges you face in the digital innovation is that you need to educate the consumer. Yeah, you need to give consumer confidence with your new product. Yeah, because some of this product is very destructive, very new. Yeah, some consumer are worried about it and so on. Yeah, so you need to develop confidence with them. So to cut the story short, after the first generation, the second generation will be introduced, with very, very high demand, kind of two-axis intelligence in chronometer. It's all started with this spirit level. All started, and this company is not even into the spirit level. It's basically a EMS, but integrate the technology based on their existing manufacturing capabilities. We are able to introduce this new generation of digitalized leveling tool, with different generation, in a very short period of time. And we, of course, get the IP, grant some patents granted in the US, EU, Japan, and China, all the big market, and so on. And of course, not just integrate technology, digital technology into a product. You need to account ecosystem. Okay, you also need to develop the software so you can able to analyze those data, capture from the new tools, the digital tools, for example, and that can then the whole ecosystem can add value to the consumer, and also create new opportunity for services for the company. So that is very important. I'm conscious of the time, that's why I quite brief on this one, but you can understand the message. So not just a product, so you need to have a package of kind of services as well. Software, data mining, data analytic, to support your new tools as well. So that is very important. So with that invention and also product ecosystem, the company is able to create a new global market and application in the aerospace, automotive, civil engineering, medical technology, railway, semiconductor, in the education, higher education, maybe ITS. You probably have some bought some Digipass leveling tool, in some of your lab, for measuring and so on and so forth. But you might understand, this is a very small company based in Batam. Before it was just a supplier, EMS. But within a short period of time, through digital innovation, they are able to create a very highly innovative product, and then in the global market, and become a key supplier to some of the best and largest company in the world. Okay. Satellite launchpad monitoring, NASA is one of the key customer now to Digipass, company, small company based in Batam. NASA come to them, work with them and so on. Because if you want to launch a rocket to the moon or to Mars and so on, and few hundred millions of miles away, you need to ensure that they are still flying the right direction. It's still stable and so on. So this leveling tool is very, very important. Okay. And if you experience an airplane in the recent years, especially in the last few years, I mean before COVID, for example, or after COVID now, if you're on the airplane, the touchdown in the past, I think 10 years or 20 years ago, when the plane touched down, you can feel it because it's huge vibration, boom, 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 boom. But today, a lot of airplane touchdown, you don't even feel it. Because all thanks to the Digipass. Because of the sensor, quick feedback and so on. The plane is able to automatically adjust the landing speed, the angle, location, and so on and so forth. So it's very smooth touchdown. You don't even feel it. And you say, oh, it's already arrived, and so on. Right. So this is just some examples, through this digital innovation, how a small company, with limited resources, are able to create a product that have a high impact, kind of on the market, create a lot of value to the consumers, and make a lot of money. Okay, so at the same time, researcher like me who work with the company, also able to create new knowledge. We call this kind of digital innovation framework that I can publish in the top journals. So this is a good example for you. How this kind of digital operation management research can be carried out. Okay, so you can see here are the customer of the Digipass. you must understand the context. Yeah, this is a very small company in Batam. Yeah, nobody know about it. Yeah, and within a few years, become a supplier to some of the largest famous company in the world. Okay, NASA, Honda, GSK, Airbus, and so on. Lockheed Martin. If you are familiar with the defense industry or in this engineering company, you should know that these are very, very big one. Yeah, they have to come all the way to Batam, seeking help from this company, in terms of some of the product and services, all through digital innovation. Okay, a small idea, yeah, and understand what is important to the customer, yeah, and then you add value to it, and then you are able to launch a product to the global market in a very short period of time. Okay. So in terms of some of you may say, okay, how about research? You talk about the product. I'm not promoting for the company. Yeah, research. In terms of research, so there is a kind of framework I sort of develop so that we can then sort of argue that through this collaboration with this DigiPass, and then we create a framework so company can then utilize this framework to identify a new product in the future for digital innovation, and then that involves the kind of 3 stages. So stage 1 is about identify the technology, yeah, and assess the potential new value creation based on that technology, yeah, and then identify a product, that can be used, to be digitalized, for example, yeah, to be upgrade or whatever you want to call it, yeah. And then once you achieve that, because this is a kind of iterative process, when you have done that, make sure you file for intellectual property protection. Yeah, that's very important. Yeah, so when you get that, then you do the new product development and design, and then you can then use Amazon, eBay, and so on, this e-commerce platform to channel your product globally. Okay, so I show you the example of from the industry perspective, the different product they created, and then the kind of consumer market they capture, and then from the research, the kind of framework that I have developed based on that collaboration, and that I publish in journals. Okay. So we call this a targeted digital transformative innovation model, because using this model, it's more targeted, it's less risky, because you know that everybody need the leveling tool, okay, to some degree, okay, you will need it and so on. So there is a market already, so you're not worried about the new product. There is no market, you have to find market and so on, right? And then because the market is there, so what you need to worry about is how you integrate the digital technology to make it more user friendly, and also add value to the consumer. Okay, so this framework can mitigate market risk, about the question of will people buy, and mitigate the technology risk. Will it work? Because the digital technology, the display and so on, those are very old technology. They've been there for 20, 30 years already. They are very mature and so on. So we need to invent the new technology. It's already there. Okay. So the framework can help to create new products with distinctive features and high value. Yeah. So it's a low entry barrier. Yeah. Using this process. Yeah. So some of you may say, wow, this is very good. Why no one think about this? In fact, it's true. That's why this small company, can able to utilize this framework and then develop a new product, enter the global market. Yeah, if everybody aware of this, big company will have captured this market already. Company like Bosch, Black and Decker, Mitsutomo, and so on. They are very powerful in terms of this kind of tools and measuring tools. They will have ventured into this, but they are not aware that it's sort of not under the radar. Yeah, but using this targeted digital transformative innovation model, yeah, company can systematically identify a suitable product that be neglected by those big company, and then transform them, and make a lot of money. Okay. So that is an example I want to share with you on digital innovation, how I collaborate with the company, and it's based in Indonesia, and then how we create value for the company, how I add new knowledge to the literature on digital innovation, And I also have another research is on this blockchain, digital supply chain for this black pepper and so on. I do not have time to elaborate on this one today, but I'm going to give a talk next week, in Hong Kong, through Zoom and virtually, about how I apply that technology. I work with the farmer, create the kind of transparent supply chain and so on. So if you have time, if you're interested, you can register it here, and then you will see how I explained about this digital supply chain, for the hot pepper in Uganda. Okay. So that's all for part 2, examples of digital innovation with companies. Yeah. So now I'm going to move to the last part of our discussion today, to talk about future research and teaching. Yeah, especially with teaching, because I know you all are researchers. So teaching is part of your duty. Yeah, because teaching and research, they are together. Okay. So here, just to highlight to you, the importance of this big data and analytics for digital innovation. So the tools that you develop, like for example, a leveling tool is just a tool. Yeah. So you need to back up with the data analytic capabilities. Yeah, because the tool going to generate a lot of data, a lot of information. Yeah. So you must able to analyze them. Yeah. So that you can serve it, the result can serve as the input for your decision. Yeah, because you need data to make decision. But if there are too many data and if you don't know how to analyze the data, then it becomes useless. Yeah. So data analytic, it become very, very important. They are kind of a package. You cannot ignore them. Yeah. So just to highlight to you, in IT, the stronger a company commitment to analytic, the higher that company's performance. So in the future, it's all about digital technology and data analytic. Okay, so here I just want to show you, in terms of the trend for future job is about data scientists. That is very important. Yeah, so important in a way that for you to be aware, in terms of your research, and also in terms of the kind of skill or capabilities you need to develop to better prepare yourself for the future. Yeah, a quick test for you. If you go on your Google, I believe, you can go on Google, right? You can type the sexiest job. Okay, do not worry about it too much. Okay, so say for example, I type it for you. I show it here. Yeah, what will appear in Google? Data scientists. They're going to be the sexiest job for the 21st century. Yeah, so first page on Google. Yeah, some of you, I believe, must be laughing. He. Thought if I type this in, going to be some, not very good website will appear and so on. No. Yeah, first page on the Google now, sexy job is data scientist. So you can see the important, how many people are searching for this information and so on. Yeah. So we understand that is important, and that is the trend, the kind of skill needed for the future graduate, and also for us to develop. Yeah. And here I'm going to share with you another experience of mine, because I'm an external examiner for many university. So this is an example from one of the top 50 university in the world. Yeah, I'm an external examiner there. Just to show you, the changes in the student number enrollment into some of these big data or analytic courses. Yeah, like for example here, number of UG, for this digital business is 550. Some of you may say, why not 1,000? Yes, actually it's more than 1,000, but the classroom is only can accommodate 550. It's very hard to have a 1,000, 2,000 classroom, because it's going to be very, very big. Yeah, so the maximum we can have is 550, and it's full. And then I say, so that's the maximum capacity we kept. Yeah. For the big data management for the postgraduate course, you can see the number 112, 1819 to 191, and then this last year 315. Yeah, big data analytics for business postgraduate 35, 68, 105, 150, 200 hour. You can see the rising trend. Everybody aware that that is the future. Yeah, they need to develop this kind of skill, data analytic, in order to get a good job in the market. Yeah, strategic management of business analytic, from 73 students, to 452 students, I believe. Next year, again, we have to cap it to, the university had to cap it to 550. Okay, so this is not my student. I mean, this is one of the top 50 business school in the world. You can see, the whatever business analytic or data big data courses they introduce, full of students. Everybody sign up for that. Big demand for that. Okay. So just to share with you my experience in terms of kind of current gap and the teaching practices. Yeah. So we shouldn't treat this data analytic as a kind of data science courses. Okay, it's very different. Yeah, from the management and data science courses. Okay, so but to be able to teach data analytic, you need to good at the statistic and the mathematics. Yeah, you must able to understand, the data, especially understand the context of the data. Yeah, because you can get a lot of data, nowadays because of the digital technology. Yeah, but before you say, okay, we should use these techniques or data mining or this degradation or whatever to analyze the data, you must first understand the context. So business understanding is very important. You can see the diagram here. Yeah. So when you understand the context, then only you look at the data. Yeah. So what data is available, what kind of data you got, and so on. Then you do the data preparation. Yeah. So that it can be suitable for the kind of modeling techniques you're going to use. Yeah. And then you analyze it, and then you check your result again. Yeah. Whether is it fit the purpose. Yeah. Especially on the business context and so on. If not, you have to repeat the process again. Yeah, so that is very important. You might have this understanding. Yeah, so the kind of skill need to be developed is you must understand the fundamental concept from literature in terms of the data analytics. What are different modeling approach for data mining and so on and so forth. What are the different models available? Yeah, so one way to enhance your understanding or your skill in this area will be, engage with company. Yeah, engage with company and invite guest lecture. And for example, today I give a guest lecture and so on. So this is very important for you to learn new information and practices from other company, other areas and so on. Yeah, so that is only way you can enhance your capabilities in data analytics. Okay, there is no shortcut. Okay, so because this is we are talking about data, a lot of data, and then we need to analyze them and so on. Yeah. So this is our last slide. So basically, to summarize, yeah, I sort of provide you a lot of examples. I first give a good big picture, the context about the forces that are challenging the global supply chain. Yeah, and look at the various technology that can be utilized to mitigate, some of those challenges, and also to create competitive advantage. Then I give you an examples of how to collaborate with companies in digital innovation. How can that benefit the company? How can that benefit research? And then I briefly touch on the challenges with the teaching, especially on this data analytics. Yeah, because the future in terms of the job prospects for graduate in the future is a lot to do with data analytics. So we need to prepare them for the future. In order to do so, ourselves, we also have to have a good understanding of data analytics, so and also the fundamental of the data analysis, predictive model, and so on. Okay, here just to, I'm not promoting for any of these books. Yeah, just to highlight to you, I think the digital supply chain is the latest one being published. I'm not saying good or not. I just to show that this one is just being published. Yeah, and the supply chain analytics. In fact, the author came to see me last week, yeah, because I'm the leading world leading researcher in that area. He want to get my endorsement for this book, but it's okay. It's well written because there are not many book on this anyway. Yeah, so just for you if you want to explore more on this topic. In terms of other papers you may want to look at that can trigger you to to have more ideas or more or kind of different perspective about research into the uh, digitalization of operation management. I have a paper on the food supply chain. Yeah, another one is the timing of blockchain adoption. Yeah, so not just about the technical perspective. Sometimes also about the timing. When should you implement the blockchain? It's also about the ecosystem. Yeah, and also blockchain application for halal food supply chain. Yeah, we Ali. And another one, interesting one, is the asset orchestration. I think this one going to be very, very hot. Okay, I'm not talking about this paper. Yeah, I can see here, I highlighted a few potential research area beside what we discussed just now. Resource orchestration and task automation. So this one going to be very, very hot or important research direction in the future, because everybody aware of the digital technology and we know that it can add value to our operation and so on and so forth. Yeah, the next question is how you're going to implement it. Yeah, how we're going to adopt the technology, where and how and so on, right? So resource orchestration, this means you must first understand what are the asset or resources you have. What are your capabilities? Yeah, you cannot just say, oh, 3D printer is good, so I want to have a 3D printer. You need to first understand, what you have, what are your capabilities and so on and so forth. So I think that the angle of research is very, very important in the future. Yeah. The second one is about workforce. Yeah. Not everybody learn about 3D printers, and not everybody know about this blockchain. Not everybody learn about cloud computing in the university. Yeah, everybody have a different background and so on and so forth. Yeah, especially your existing worker that be in your company for 20 years, 30 years. They do know what is the concept of industry 4.0 and so on, right? So workforce redesign, reskilling, that could be a very, very important research area in the future. Yeah, we all know the benefit this digital technology can bring to operation and supply chain. Yeah, but we need human people, to make it happen. Yeah, so that is an interesting area for the future. Yeah, and you cannot just simply plug in a particular technology into your process or into your system. It had to be integrated. Yeah, so process redesign, yeah, end to end with a new technology solutions become a very, very important topic. Yeah, because when you add a new technology or you upgrade particular system in a particular area in your operation, yeah, it cannot be localized. It has to be globalized in a way, be fully integrated in your supply chain. Yeah, so process redesign, with end-to-end redesign is very, very important. So that could be a very interesting area for research. A lot of companies would need this kind of support or research to help them to gain better understanding on this. And ecosystem, yeah, technology transformation, the ecosystem is a illustrate an example with you on this DigiPass. Yeah, it's not just about the digital leveling tool, but also the software. Yeah, so enable you to capture the data generated by the tool. At the same time, you're able to do data analytic, analysis, data mining, and so on, and how that fit back into the decision making for the user and so on. It's very, very important. Yeah, and remember, no company is alone. Yeah, you are part of a global supply chain. Yeah, so if you have digitalized your process, your operation, how about your customer? How about your supplier and so on? Yeah, so the whole ecosystem, you have to look at it from the whole ecosystem and so on. So there could be other potential area as well, but I just highlighted some to you, some of this immediate kind of area that we can sort of directly link to the impact of digital operation. Okay, so that could be an interesting area for you to look into for future research. Yeah. So last but not least, just to share with you the Rolls-Royce example, yeah, how Rolls-Royce implement Industry 4.0 or digital supply chain, yeah, how it all comes together, yeah, in terms of the product design, assemble, operation, you know, how they execute and deliver, and then aftermarket service support, you know, in terms of the kind of different technology digital technology thread, you know, in all these different for business operation. Okay, I mean, I'm not going to go in depth into this one, partly also some of the confidential issue and so on, but this slide is not confidential, yeah, but some of the information about the company can be confidential, but it gives you an idea, you know, this digital technology have a huge implication for a lot of companies, like for example, in this case in Rolls-Royce, almost from end to end of the operation, okay, not just on the upstream manufacturing or downstream, it's the end to end, okay, and a lot of companies actually are considering or looking how to upgrade, you know, their current operation to be more digitalized and so on. Yeah, so there are a lot of opportunity for research, and then for you to collaborate with companies, yeah, both to help them to improve their operation, and then also for you to identify a new research gap, and so you can contribute new knowledge that enable you to publish in the leading journals. Okay, so that's all I have time to share with you on this digital operation management. Yeah, and I hope you are able to follow my presentation, and also you benefit from watching some of the videos that can trigger some new ideas or opinion about research in this area, the future, yeah, and also potentially idea for you to work with companies, yeah, and that have a win-win kind of a scenario for both the company, your university, yeah. Sorry, I think there's some discussion going on here, yeah. But last but not least, terima kasih. Thank you so much for spending time with me. Yeah, and then I hope also to learn from you from this discussion. So you have any questions, please don't afraid to ask. So I always believe, you know, we all learn from each other through discussion, and so I always value the Q&A section. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Kim. Now, key and answer. Okay, the first for Pak Agus Mansur. Time for you, Prof. Agus.
Okay, thanks, Prof. Iwan. Prof. Kim, very good
Yes.
presentation, Prof. Kim.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah.
Yes, Prof. Kim, I have a question related with the digital marketing in small medium enterprise. Yeah, I have small research with my team related with how to analyze digital marketing in small and medium enterprise. The problem is not of them from the company still not really success with the digital marketing. Yeah, they said so many factors that digital marketing not really suitable with the business. The business is related with restaurant business. Yeah, they try to create digital marketing like how to order and something, but the customer need like as conventional business. Yeah, because they need to talking in the restaurant and something like that. Yeah, maybe Prof. Kim, if I need to write this my research and try to publish journal, how to make this article be sexy, I mean reachable in the journal. Thank you, Prof. Kim.
Yeah. Thank you for your question. Can you hear me? You can hear me, right? Can you hear me?
Yes, here.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Good. Thank you for your question. Yeah. I think digital marketing is very, very important. So let me share with you the example of this Digipass, the small company in Batam. So actually, if you are in the business, you may experience this, but from us, academic, you don't know this. Actually, small company, they got no power. Big company, they always bully small company. So for example, when this Pat Jim from this Digipass, he developed this new product and he want to introduce it to the global market. So he went to an exhibition in Munich, yeah, because it's a small company from Batam, from Indonesia. So when he went for the exhibition, nobody want to talk to him or care about him. He said, "What? Who are you? You're a small company. Yeah, I also don't know whether you're going to be successful or not in the next 6 months. Yeah, how I know your product is good? Yeah, very difficult. Yeah, small big company, they don't even want to talk to you. Now you go and make appointment to say, can I talk to you tomorrow, whatever? They say, no, I'm too busy, and so on. Yeah, so it's not easy, totally very, very difficult. So you may think that, oh, when Kim said the example, very easy, I developed one. No, I didn't share with you a lot of difficulties and challenges. Yeah, but luckily, I discussed with Pak Jim. I say actually we need to circumvent, address this issue through digital marketing. Yeah, because the traditional, conventional marketing channel are controlled by big company. Like for example, if you want to advertise in television or whatever, you need a lot of money, right? If you have a lot of money, actually you are very rich already. Why you want to advertise? So but the small company, they don't have money, they don't have resources. Yeah, so how can you advertise? It's very difficult. So we use digital marketing. Yeah, so because we sell the product, we ask him to sell the product through this eBay and marketing, Amazon, in Japan or America, Europe, and so on. And then as you know, consumer today, they like to give feedback. Yeah, I think everybody spend many hours on the smartphone and then they look at it and so on. Yeah, so especially Western consumer, they enjoy giving feedback. Yeah, if they buy the digital leveling tool, they use it, they find it very user friendly, and then they give comment 5-star. So this is the best product ever produced, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so we capitalize on that one. Yeah, and then use that to generate more consumer. Yeah, so it's more like kind of snowball effect. The snowball getting bigger and bigger. Yeah, so that is a very important. Digital marketing is very, very important, especially for, I believe, for a lot of SME in Asia, because we are very small, limited resources. Yeah, it's only through the social media. Yeah, it's the only way you can reach out to the world. Yeah, once consumer have the able to know your product and try your product, they will know, wow, very good quality. Yeah, even though they don't know your brand name and so on, but if they test it and they find it very good, and we have a lot of good recommendation from the customer in their region, yeah, they have more confidence and so on. Yeah, so that is very important. Right, back to your question, I give you the background, how to publish it and so on. Digital marketing, it all depends. Are you in the marketing department? Or are you from the IE but you want to publish in the marketing journal? That is very important. You need to clarify, yeah, because the body of literature, the knowledge base for marketing is very different from IE. Yeah, so if you think that, okay, I just put some wording about marketing here and there, and then I can publish. No, it's going to be very, very challenging. Yeah, so there's one issue you need to address. Another issue is very important. Okay, if you want to make your marketing successful, you must have a good product. Okay, so why Pat Jim can do it successfully? Because his product that he developed is very, very good. Yeah, so a good product, then good marketing equal to success. Okay, so all this need to work together. Yeah, so you can't just rely on marketing if a product is not good, because consumer like you and I, we are not stupid, right? Yeah, if you're being tricked into buying a product or services and it's not good, we're going to get very angry. Yeah, and then we're going to give a lot of very poor comments on the website. 0 star. So this is worse, whatever, And social media, as you know, yeah, all this kind of negative comment, yeah, and will be widely shared, and people were aware of it, and then it become worse and worse and worse. Okay. So I hope I give you some background and also some advice, and then that can serve as input for you to look into your project, because I'm not familiar with your project, and then for you to look into it and see what action is necessary for you to take, so that you can better draft a paper on this digital marketing. But my immediate advice to you is which journal are you targeting? Okay, so you must first understand, is that journal is the right outlet for that paper? Yeah, is this kind of digital marketing? Is that a very new, a big gap in the existing literature? Yeah, or is there any existing paper that be well written, or that topic has been covered and so on? So you may want to move to something else and so on. So that is very, very important. So maybe part one in the future, we can organize a section about journal publication, so I can share with you a lot of ideas, because I have been editors for many special issue, senior editor for many journals. So I have many ideas and insight can share with you. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Oh, Profita is here.
Profita, okay. Okay,
Good afternoon,
Profita,
Professor. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes. No interview today. Okay, no worry.
Thank you, Professor, for the opportunity. It is interesting to hear the explanation previously on how SME is also beneficial on the implementations of digitalization. And I hear from your explanation that the barrier to entry the market is one of the biggest challenge for the SME in Asia. Yeah? Is there any other challenges that the SMEs in Asia experience in terms of applications of digitalization, and how to overcome it, Professor?
Yes,
besides
very good.
the barrier to entry the market. Thank you.
Yes, very good. I think barrier to entry is one of the most important one. So if you familiar with a lot of these computer products like Asus, Asus, right? Some of you may use Asus or Acer. Yeah, so these are very good company that produce laptops, PC, and so on, right? So in fact, for the past 20 years, I mean, you only heard about this company in the last 20 years, but before that, this company are actually the main manufacturer of this computer and PC like IBM, Dell, Philips, and so on. Yeah, but they are EMS, like Pat Jim, electronic manufacturing service provider. They are the one produce them, yeah, but no brand name. Okay, so if you read the Stan Shi, the founder of Acer Computer, his biography, yeah, he said 20 years ago, when he's ready, he produced his product very, very good quality, better than Apple, Toshiba, IBM, and so on. But he cannot sell his product because there is no marketing channel. Yeah, no retailers in the world, big retailers outside Taiwan, willing to carry his product. They will say, I never heard of your company. Where you come from? Asia? No. Yeah, they only want carry the Japanese or the European product, display in the showroom and so on. Yeah, so very, very difficult. Yeah, because that's why in his book, if you have time to read, or also he published a journal, a paper in the Harvard Business Review. Yeah, it's called Smiling Curve. Yeah, so one of the very, very important area capability you must build is marketing channel capability. Yeah, because regardless how good is your product, yeah, if no consumer aware of it, nobody buy, you're not going to sell, you're not going to make any money. Yeah, you're going to bankrupt. Okay, so that is one thing. Yeah, just to emphasize on that. But the other issue, if you want to ask me, that is very, very important, big challenges for a lot of SME is IP protection, intellectual property. Very, very important, because technology moving very fast. And today is a globalized kind of a supply chain and market. Yeah, a product produced in Surabaya, yeah, will be next day, you know, available or accessed by someone in Kenya, you know, within hours and so on. Everybody can access and know your product and so on because globalization. Yeah. So if your product is very good and there is no IP protection, yeah, big company also will copy. You know, not just small company, you know, big company will also copy and imitate. And because they are very, very resourceful, they have a lot of money, yeah, they can immediately advertise, you know, all over the world to make consumer think that this big company is the one that invented that product. And then when you try to introduce a product, they say, you are a small company, you must be the one that imitate and whatever. Yeah. So IP is very, very important. Okay, I share with you another painful experience by Pak Jim of Batam. When he have his new product, he went to this exhibition in Germany, right? So some big company like Bosch, Black and Decker, you know, these are very big company, you know, pass by his kind of a store. So they look at his product, they ask some question, what is this? Where you come from? And so on. And then they go away, you know. So Pak Jim also quite happy, say, this, they stop by and, you know, look at his product, but they just go away. They don't even bother to talk to him more and so on, right? 2 years later, he went for an exhibition in Geneva, yeah, and then he, of course, because he's a small company, he went to look at this Black and Decker, Bosch, you know, what are the new products they introduced. He found, you know, Bosch actually copy his idea, you know, also introduce this digital leveling tool. Yeah. So he was shocked. But luckily, Pak Jim very smart. He applied IP already. He had
Recording
IP
stopped.
granted by US and also Japan. Yeah. So immediately he walked to one of the people in charge of that store and then give him the IP number. And he said to them, you know, if you have free time tonight, you know, just Google this IP number. You know what happened? Next day, you know, one of the director of Bosch came to him, you know, bow and says, very sorry. You know, we will make sure our product withdraw from the market straight away. So the story, the moral of the story is, if without IP, yeah, this Pak Jim company will not appear, will not exist today. It will be just squeezed out by this big company straight away and so on. Yeah. So do not think that only small company will copy. Do not think that only Asian company will copy. Any company will copy as long as they can make money. They see the value in that, they will copy. Yeah. So if you do not have IP, you are gone. You are done. Yeah. Because they will squeeze you out. Yeah. And then they will claim that it belongs to them, not you, and so on. Yeah. Then they will apply IP immediately and so on. But luckily, Pak Jim got the IP from US. Yeah. So even if Bosch want to apply the kind of similar technology, similar application, they will not going to be granted the IP, for example. Okay.
Thank you, Professor. I'll see you in UK this September, if God's will. Thank you.
Okay. See you. Jumpa lagi.
3 questions in the chat, Prof. Kim. I selected
3 questions?
one. Yes, one question because Maghrib praise is over in the Surabaya. Okay. How do we deal with the issue of the data leakage when we try to digitalize all aspects coming from the upstream till downstream in the supply chains?
Very good question. Yes.
From Novan Hadi.
Yes, Novan, very good question. But because of the time, because it run out of 2 hours now, and I have a meeting coming up very, very soon. First thing first, you can Google my name there. You should find I have published 2 or 3 papers on information and data leakage. Yeah, so that could give you a lot of background and also framework or tools to address information and data leakage issue. But quickly answer your question, blockchain. Yeah, so blockchain is a very reliable and also tamper-free platform that you can use in the supply chain. That can also prevent this data leakage issue. Okay, so a quick answer to your question on this one. Yeah, look at the data paper I published. I already addressed the issue already, and also blockchain is a technology that you can use to do that. Okay, thank you. Next question, Ivan. EV.
From the Pak Ivan Dharma.
Yeah. Yes, EV. Not so much on the EV. EV is more to do with the sustainability, but the kind of automated drones, yeah, or automated vehicles, yeah, or call it AV, not EV, yeah, AV. Yes, it's part of this industry 4.0. In the UK, especially in Europe, especially these are more technology advanced country like Germany, Switzerland, and so on. Then they foresee in the future there is no longer any postman. You know, postman. People come and deliver mail to you. Yeah. In the future, they're going to use these automated drones. Yeah. They through this automated postal processing center. Yeah, and then they will scan the barcode, and then they'll get the letter, the parcel, and then the drones or the automated drones, they can travel up to 200 miles. 200 miles, that is huge area by themselves, of course with GPS guidance and so on, and deliver the products, the parcel to you. Okay. In UK, we also use a lot of drones, yeah, but in the agriculture to spray the pesticide, yeah, and drone to survey the landscape and the area, yeah, to survey which area of the crops are being damaged by the virus or whatever, and so on. So a lot of application, yeah, yes, this drone, AV, automation, they are part of this industry 4.0 digital technology. Okay, thank you.
Last question from Buniken Anggraini.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Agriculture, right?
Yes.
Yes, the agriculture one I just mentioned because I think I saw this question, so I link it to the Pak Ivan question. The drone is being used very, very heavily today in the agriculture for spraying the pesticide, for surveying the area, for identify, the growth of the plant, and also so that you can better target, where to put your fertilizer, which area of the plant is not growing well, where you need water, and so on. And that is very, very important. Because as you know, if you have big piece of land, agriculture land, and then you're going to use a lot of energy, water, fertilizer, and so on. So drone can help you to optimize the process. Yeah, also can save the manpower. Yeah, because today, especially with the COVID situation and so on, manpower can be the big issue and so on, right? So this industry 4.0 digital technology is now being used very, very heavily in the agriculture sector. Yeah, especially in the UK. I think in China also, because China have 1.4 billion people. So agriculture is very, very important to them. So they use a lot of digital technology. I think China is one of the most advanced country in the world using this kind of drone or digital technology in agriculture. If you just go on YouTube, you just type this, you will find a lot of videos showing the application on that. Okay. So another question here is on puput. More about I can deliver some idea from our
yeah,
very good. Yes. Puput, this is thanks for your comments. Yes, you, as I mentioned to you, yeah, some of the area or idea I mentioned there, I think you can investigate further. Yeah, especially where you can create a win-win for both your research and also for local industry and also for policymaker. Yeah, like for example, an area I share with you now, maybe you want to explore, like business ethic in AI, for example. I think that's going to be very, very important in the future. And policymaker, government, the minister, they're very keen on this because they know everybody going to use AI. Yeah, in the future, all process going to be automated. Yeah, but what are the ethical implication of this? Yeah, because you're going to use a lot of AI. What happened to your existing workers? Or what happened to training? Would that create another issue? Yeah, ethical issue, as I mentioned to you, is very, very important. Not just for Indonesia, all over the world, people are watching. Yeah, if you've done something bad in Indonesia, everybody will know. Okay, so business ethic in the AI is going to be a huge topic, an interesting area for research. Yeah, where you can create a win-win. For you, a interesting area for contribution to knowledge. For company, they will know the framework on how to address the ethical issue. For government, they can use your paper as an input for them to draft a white paper, for business ethic in AI and so on. Okay.
Thank you, Prof. Kim. I think the sharing knowledge, your presentation about the digitalization, we hope next semester or next year's we will I hope we hope Prof. Kim will sharing again about the journal publication and also the new issue in the operation and supply chain management. Thank you so much, Prof. Kim. And
thank you for having me. Yeah, terima kasih.
The photo, screenshot photo, Mbak Henny, mungkin apa? Ya. Thank you, Mas Alfa.
Okay, terima kasih. Thank you, everyone.
Terima
See you
kasih,
next
Prof.
time.
Kim. See you next time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prof. Kim. Saya tutup ya. 1, 2, 3.